are the 5 soft skills that every employer is looking for, no matter who you are. Number 1, everybody ought to get this one. Be at work, what? On time every day that you are scheduled to work. So you got a plan to be on time. If you got to be at work at 8 o'clock, the time to start thinking about that is not 7:30 in the morning. You got to make some decisions in advance to make sure you get to work on time every day. You got to make some decisions in advance. You got to go to bed so that you can get up, so that you can get to work on time. You should try to get to work at least 15 minutes before your shift starts. That's just sort of the standard rule. But anytime, 15 or more minutes before you get to work, before your shift starts, that's when you should plan to be at work. So planning, that involves some self-discipline, that involves some self-management. You got to have a plan to make sure you get to work on time. Can't be thinking about it at the last minute. When you get to work, you got to be dressed appropriately. You got to have good personal hygiene. Brush your teeth, throw on some deodorant. And you got to be drug and alcohol free when you get to work. Drugs, illegal. Some prescription drugs are not, but drugs illegal for the most part. Alcohol, not illegal. But the time to have a drink is not before your shift starts, even though it's not illegal. If you got some transportation issues, you need to have those worked out before you have to be at work. If you drive your car, you got a car that you drive to work, are you responsible enough to make sure your car gets oil changes and tune-ups? You got gas in it, all that stuff? Because it's your means of transportation that takes responsibility. If you don't have a car and you got to ride the bus, do you know what the bus routes are, what the bus schedule is? I might say this and go, duh, but I tell you this happens all the time. I got to be at work at 8 o'clock. There's a bus that leaves my house at 7:15. It gets me to work at 8:15. There's another bus that leaves at 6 o'clock in the morning. It gets me to work at 7 o'clock. Which bus do I take? If I got to be at work an hour early to be on time, then I need to be at work an hour early to be on time. Because even though it's more convenient, you might be able to sleep longer by taking the bus that leaves at 7:15. It's going to get you to work late. So that's not the bus to take. Also, do you have at least a couple friends in your life who could help you get to work if you needed to? That could give you a ride. They can get you to work, from work. They can loan you some money if you needed to get bus fare or something like that. Everybody should have at least a couple people in their life that they ought to be able to go to like that. If you don't have people like that, let's talk about those relational skills. If you're going to be late to work, what do? You got to call and let somebody know. You got to talk to a supervisor. You can't leave a message. You can't talk to somebody else. You can't tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. You need to talk to an authority or the supervisor or whoever they designate for you to call. You got to talk to the authority and let them know. And then let them know when you're going to be there. Even particularly here, even if you're going to be late, sometimes you're going to be late. Can't be helped. It's better to call and let somebody know you're going to be late than to just show up late. Number 2, have a good attitude when you get to work. You got to have a good attitude. When's it okay to bring personal drama to work? Never. Everybody has personal drama is my guess. I know I have personal drama. Everybody has personal drama. You have to be able to manage that drama so that it doesn't roll up to work and cost you your job. Anybody ever seen somebody's personal drama roll up to work and cost them their job or put their job in jeopardy? Somebody talking about where my money rolling up at work? So You know, if you got the kind of drama that can roll up to your job and put your job in jeopardy, then I think you might need to talk to the pastor or go get some counseling or something, because you're probably contributing to that drama in some way, if the drama is that bad. So leave drama at home. Know stuff that affects your attitude. If you don't get a good night's sleep, that affects your attitude. If you don't eat breakfast, that affects your attitude. I'm a person that has pre-diabetes, so my blood sugar fluctuates. I gotta eat breakfast. If you're a person who doesn't eat breakfast, I suggest you eat breakfast. Red Bull and a donut, not breakfast. Diet Coke, Mountain Dew, Cinnabon, not breakfast. Those things are sugary, they quick high, crash. Eat some protein. Eat some protein for breakfast. Protein lasts longer in your system, keeps your blood sugar up, allows you to stay focused. If you have to eat breakfast, that means you got to give yourself some time so that you can eat breakfast. That's part of planning. All right, number 3, get along with coworkers. You got to understand how to be a teammate, listen to hear, all of that we talked about. Learn and be able to help others, but get along with your coworkers. Number 4, be able to take supervision. Be able to take supervision. So I'm going to tell a story here. And this is a story I always tell. First question I'm going to ask, go ahead. First question I'm going to ask is, anybody here, how many of you were born before 1975? Anybody born before 1975? Got a few people. Who was born after 1985? After 1985. A few people born after 1985. All right. So, another company that I work for, do this training with, we got a young man a job. He's about 21 years old. Let's just say for the sake of the thing, his name was Smith. So we got Smith a job. He was 21 years old. It was a demolition job for rehabbing offices. So they had to come in and tear out the drywall and the fixtures so that somebody can come in and rehab the office space. Smith, 21 years old. Job was paying $15 an hour. Best job Smith ever had. So during the work shift one day, supervisor came in. Okay, y'all, let's go. Move y'all's ass. We got to get this done. We got to be done by 3 o'clock. Let's go. Move your ass. Hey, Smith, come on, move your ass. We got to get this done by 3 o'clock. Come on, everybody. So Smith, he stopped, and he walked over to the supervisor, and he said, you know, you don't have to talk to me like that, because I'm a man. So supervisor called the next day to the agency that put Smith there and said, y'all have to send Smith no more. Send us somebody else. That was Smith's issue. Supervisor, and after the supervisor had came in and said, Smith, get your act together and let's get this job done. Now that would have been targeting Smith intentionally. But he came in and he was saying this to everybody, clapping their hands. He was communicating that he needed to get this job done. Here's the job of a supervisor. The job is mainly 3 things. 1, make sure the job gets done. 2, make sure it gets done the way it's supposed to be done. And 3, to make sure it gets done in the time that it's supposed to be done. You can't take supervision personally. So Smith, a young man, took it personally. But there's a reason why Smith took it personally. And this is a little sociological thing I'm going to throw in for free. See, the reason I use those times, 1975, 1985. In 1975 and before, most households in America had a father or a father figure in the household. After 1985, which was sort of the beginning of the crack era, the war on drugs in America, most of the households at that point, we started to get a lot of households that did not have fathers or father figures in the household on a regular basis. Here's why that's significant. If you didn't grow up with a father or father figure that both loved you and disciplined you, then you probably grew up with a distorted view of authority. If you grew up without a father or father figure that both loved you and disciplined you, then you probably grew up with a distorted view of authority. I knew that Smith kid, and I knew his situation, and that was exactly what was going on with him. And people who tend to have a hard time with authority is because of that. It's not the only reason, but that's sort of the main reason. Because authority is always treated with suspicion when you don't grow up with a healthy authority in your life. And sometimes supervisors cost the company money because of the way they treat people. That's for sure. But there's an appropriate way to deal with that if you're an employee. There's probably a protocol. There's probably a grievance you can file, something like that if you think you've been treated unfairly by a supervisor. But in this instance, that wasn't an unfair treatment. He wasn't singling Smith out. He said his name, but he was talking about everybody, trying to get the job done. It was Smith who took that personally. Can't take it personally. And if you take it personally and it's not personal, then there's something going on inside of you that you need to check. That's the whole point there. So being able to take supervision is an important thing, but you got to understand it and understand what your job is in relation to supervision. You're the employee, the supervisor has a job to do. You have a job to do. Understand your role and you'll be okay. If there is an issue, then the time to deal with it is not in the middle of the shift walking up to the supervisor saying, I'm a man. Then the last thing, do the job that you were assigned to do. Do the job that you were assigned to do. If you don't understand something, ask immediately. So if you don't understand something, ask. And ask till you get it. Ask for some demonstration. If you make a mistake, tell a supervisor immediately. This is challenging work, but this is important work, and quality is important. You know, if you do the job, you got to do it right. So if you make a mistake, tell the supervisor. Don't just try to fix mistakes. There might be a protocol to mistakes. Don't just try to do something unless the supervisor says it's okay to do it. Number 6 is how you get full. Number 6 is be proactive. Be proactive. And here's how you be proactive. That's when you take responsibility for your job. You decide that you're going to work to improve your job performance. The way you can improve your job performance is to ask for feedback from your supervisors. How you doing? Everybody's going to get an evaluation, but you can ask for feedback every day or every couple days. Am I doing right? Some people call that brown nosing, but you know what? You know how you get raises? By getting better at what you do. Merit raises. Talk to some coworkers. There's some cats that have been around here for years. Talk to somebody who's been around for a while. How'd they do it? Learn something from them. And then be willing to learn some new skills or some new job roles. They would much rather promote people or transfer people or move people around from within than have to hire from without. Because if you here and you're one of those folks with good soft skills and they know you, like this brother back here said he's been here before, so they knew his work ethic, so they knew he could work here, so they got him right back. When they know you, they're going to be willing to give you that job than take a risk on somebody who they don't know, like a crapshoot, 50-50. That's when you'll be full. And if you are full, not only will you keep the job here, if you for some reason have to leave, you're going to leave with a good recommendation from this place.